Okay, we are back. Part two. Part two. Okay, I'm gonna apologize. The first part one is like half me just blabbing and talking, but half an hour of DJ Wiz, and DJ Wiz is coming back. DJ Wiz is coming back for part two of this interview, which is very, very, very informative. Very informative. Love to hear a background story of how people got started, how the journey went, all the experiences, the bumps in the road, and how they smoothed out the path. So definitely interested in hearing more from DJ Wiz. So whenever you're ready, I can send an invite to you. Okay. All right, guys. Part two. Okay. All right. So when did you actually, you're talking about, you didn't get a chance to be that man, out there. When did it actually happen for you? Like when was your first time?
Um, Let me see when I turned to be that guy on
Yeah.
the high tech. Uh, we played a dance um downtown. I think it was close towards Caravana time. Close towards Caravana. What year was it? No, no. I'm mistaken. I believe it was not 702, but there's a club. I can't remember the club's name down at Black Creek and I don't know, somewhere down Black Creek. The end of Black Creek and Western Road. Black Creek and Western Road.
Okay.
Um, Went into a dance. It wasn't packed, so that's where I got it. Was Steenie was playing. At that time, Steenie was playing Tempo. Miss, can I tell you? 416, the man ran me out of the dance.
Why?
Steenie ran me out of the, not like saying, come out, get, but
Yeah.
Steenie was hype those times,
Yeah.
and he's just an amazing selector. He's just amazing. So, and this was my first kind of, you know, uh, go around with to get to play the sound by myself kind of thing. Um, it Back then in those days when you do a dance, it's automatic kind of clash, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
It's always a competition, right? No matter what happens, it's always a competition, whether you're juggling or not. It doesn't have to say clash on it. So we were John. We're young. We're two young guys, and but he's a good year or two more experienced than me, and he could handle it, right? So um, his skills were. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. Maybe King Henry might know a little bit more, but I'm pretty sure that was the one. I just don't remember the club. And I never forget the night because from that night I was like, yo, I have to get this guy back. I have to get this guy. Have to. Yeah, it was, and I think it was around that time, 92, 93, I believe it was 92, 93. He was playing at Soji's club.
Mm-hmm.
Soji had a club down at Weston and Black Creek, and I think that was the first time I really got to. I never got to unleash, but I got to play and ding, and you juggle. The dance wasn't packed; it wasn't packed, so that was lucky for me. But
Mm-hmm.
Steenie, yeah, man, he was throwing his words. I never forget the night he threw his words, boy. He threw his words, and I said, "Yo, I was mad. I was like mad. I was like, yo, I want to fight." He's like, and I remember the old man saying, "Nah, man, come on." I saw dance gone area because we left out because it wasn't packed, but that was the night I got to exercise the tunes and thing. And I think um because I wanted to be so hype and bust the songs. So I wanted to bust all the hype songs, 'cause I'm giddy, I'm jumpy now, and this is my time.
Yeah.
Although there's maybe 10, 20 people in there, I don't care. I feel like I'm playing the world right now. So I think that's what it was. When I look back, maybe I took the dance to a different level too early,
Mm,
possibly. Maybe when I look back with the experience that I have now. But
right.
back then, I just want to bust the dance. I couldn't care less. You know what I mean? I just want to play all the hot songs and talk to the ladies after. That didn't
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 happen.
happen. But yo, it was a very good. When I look back now, it was a very good learning lesson, and I understand now tempo of dance and how to do this and how to do that. But it is what it is, and it happened, and I don't grudge or hate him for it at all. He's the man's like absolutely awesome at what he does, and you know, there's been multiple dances that he and I go back and forth to bust the dance, back and forth, and we ran a whole good 10-year run. You know what I mean? Until I branched off into the radio kind of thing. But that was just my choice, right? But yeah, that's where it started. I think I just can't remember the name of the club. I don't know if
Mm,
Dini can tell me. It wasn't 702, but I can't remember. But that's where it started. That was where
yeah.
the first time I got off to the sound.
And then it just took off from there.
Yeah, it was a little bit of struggle. It was a little bit of struggle. The sound was so popular and so dominating in Toronto. Uh, the authorities kind of tried to belittle it. So there was a little bit, of trouble behind that. Uh, some bad incidents happened at some clubs and some dances, some parties, and the stigma kind of came to our sound, and the old man he wanted to shut it down and move it to Yard. So that's why I said, yo, um, yeah, yeah. I can't really read the comments because I'm on this interview, so I don't mean to be disrespectful to the people that are talking, but because when my live jumps up, a lot of great people who are musically inclined know their stuff. So
Definitely.
uh, I forget what I was saying. I apologize because I was.
That they wanted to take the sound back to Jamaica.
Yeah, yeah. So the old man he took the sound back to Jamaica. So again, I lost that even though it's mine when it's ready, when I'm ready to accept it and take it back, and we that's in some works right now, as a matter of fact. But I decided to go with I had when I moved to Jane and Finch, and I was staying with my cousin them, and then my cousin he built a sound, so I joined that. And how ironic it was that, well, we first we first bust Rodeo Promo's first party ever. We played Rodeo's first party at the building. Um, then the real Toronto bus, can you believe it, came at Steenie's birthday party. It was it's how
Nice
ironic
callback,
it
right?
is. Yeah, full tilt. It was actually Steenie's
Wow.
birthday party. I think it was the Giaconda on Weston Road where the sound bust. And them times there now, I had really taken um, lessons from not going to certain dances, but mimicking like Ian from Roadstar, right? Um, Roadstar. I know everybody, respected Rory and stuff like that, but I had this preference of Roadstar cassettes, and I wanted to be like Ian, and Ian was like, yeah, this guy's amazing, and how he busts songs and his mixing. I wish I could mix like him. I couldn't mix like him, but he was smooth, and the cassettes that I heard, the cassettes that I kept taking in and I kept listening to and I kept listening to. But I traveled to Jamaica and I could never get to a Roadstar dance. I always went up to, a Stone Love dance. I saw some Lee's Unlimited. Uh, I saw, you know, who was it back then? I think I took in one Silver Hawk dance. Um, but back and forth, back and forth. A lot of times I ended up at this club called Hot Tracks. Where,
Tracks.
yeah, me and my cousin used to go, and the selector was there as playing, and of course we were dancing, because back then dancing was in, you know. Um, and I used to bounce from going to the club and then one day and then going to see the thing and going to hear the sounds, and we always kind of ended up House of Leo. I visited there about maybe 3 4 times, and a couple times were really special to me still, like just being in that aura, that the outside and the vibes that they brought was, it's by far nothing that I've ever, I can never begin to explain to you. If you have to really live it and understand it and know that Jamaica is a place that if everything is running right, it's one of the greatest places on earth. 100%. The vibes, the music, the people back then were just, it's a lot different. I maybe because I never really saw that negativity, that negative side. I never really took all that stuff in. So, but the experiences, yeah, it was enlightening, for real, straight up.
Wow. So do you still go back? Well, obviously not now because of the situation we're in right now, but when's the last time you went back to
Jamaica?
Jamaica? Yeah.
Oh, I was there just before this, January. Just before
Oh,
they
wow.
closed. I was there January. Yeah, I always make a trip to go. Always, 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 always.
Yeah.
I mean, one of my best friends, he owns a bar down there, Pinata's Lounge. Um, so I go there and I kind of hang out. I've always wanted to just, uh, I groomed myself when I went to Jamaica to make sure I fit in. And what I mean by that is I never go there. I'm not a drinker, so I'm not buying out the bar. I'm not show offish. I don't have to wear the gold and the this and the thing. I take taxi and I jump on the buses. Um, I try to learn the whole bus route by myself and stuff like that. I never go too late though, because you just don't know.
Yeah.
There's certain ends of course I don't go. If I don't know it, I just don't. I just don't go. Uh, one of my first experiences in Jamaica was highly dramatically fun, hilarious. Um, and then my other big time experience was really eye opening to me and stuff like that. So it was like it's crazy how you know what you perceive as sometimes you think it's so dangerous and so and you hear people say a bunch of stuff and it's really not like that.
Yeah.
um I guess you're going to want to know my first experience.
Yes, I was gonna ask. That was the next question.
um so Captain Midnight, who's an absolute amazing selector, he was the one that gave me the first opportunity to play in a dance um there. And I never forget, I put on the Dennis Brown, Here I Come. And when I played that, I heard pop, 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 pop. So, being Canadian, I took off. I left the sound, I left the records, because the sound was positioned here and the gate was right there. So I jumped down and started taking off. And when I went out, ran through the gate and I looked around, I hear laughter and I don't see anybody behind me. What's going on? So this happened in Bagwak. Like I'm not really like a designated Jamaican to know the areas, but I know Bagwak. I believe that's
Yeah.
near Linstead or whatever.
Mhm.
All I remember is the rock. that I drove past and stuff like that. So I took off. I made it through the gate, but by the time I'm here and laughing, everybody's laughing. So that's when I learned, you know, a legal gun salute you got.
Yeah.
Legal salute. What? So Captain Midnight comes, he comes on and like said, people, you have to sit with him. A foreign youth, man, you have to sit with him.
You had no idea.
If I could turn red right now, you know how, you know? But he played it off. He brought me back. People were laughing. Yo, I went back on the turntable, put on. But why? Them times are now. Live for it now. Next tune to next tune here. Pop, pop, pop. That's what Midnight say. You have to say legal, legal, beer legal. Top up now. See, so the dance is busting. Like I'm no big selector, but I'm just enjoying the moment. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and it was that was one part of the Jamaica that I learned, and then years later, I ended up playing at the roof for Willie Agat and the Roses. Christine took me down, and I played with. It was Travelers, it was Metro Media, and I think Jamrock was on the dance, but everybody was there. It was nice dance. Mm-hmm. And I remember Juxi Killer was playing Travelers. And I made a speech about, you know, don't follow politics and those things and stuff like that. Excuse me, dance bus. We were enjoying it. Everything was smooth through. And then I was over by Christine and we were in a thing, and a gentleman came over and said, yo, Willie, I got to call you. My legs started trembling. Because I remember hearing about, all I could hear about was this man on cassettes, right? I could just hear about Willie Agat and hear badness, like, bad man, done. Seeing he's a done. So yeah. when he said he's calling me, I was like, yo. I'm like, oh my God. So I trembled over there. I'm not going to tell you, I was coward. Yeah. So I went over there. And you know, said the man said, youth, rate the juggling what you do. You're wicked. Hear what you do. I just one mistake you made. When you see when you're there at Jamaica, you're not bother mix up with the politician talk and them things. Because, you know, I guess every corner has their political view and stuff like that. So he was the one. And he says, yo, see a bottle of champagne for you there. And I'm like, I don't drink. Take it, man. He took the bottle of champagne, went over, Christine and them. Our little crew from Canada was there. And, yo, it was something. So the night's finished now. And, yo, he's like, remember, this is time I have a record box. This is record box. Yeah. And he's like, here, Wagwan. I never forget, because he called me and Christine were together, and Willie Agat's like, yo, here what you do. Every Wednesday, you just a forward to the roof. And yes, so you're going to stay and bust the world. Because you're wicked. See, and Juxi Killer was like, yo, man, I can stay. Yeah. But he told me a thing, he's like, yo, come weekend, you're supposed to play Yasso. Like, you want to play a Yasso. And I'm like, well, my flight leaves Friday. You know what I'm saying? So, nah. We are talking about. So I don't know what him and Christine linked, and he ended up paying for the extended ticket. But one thing is, he said, yo, leave your record box them, yeah, man. Don't worry about up and nobody can. And remember, this is my record. This is my life here. Yeah. There's no way I'm leaving this record box here. I'm like, no, I can't do it. Because, yo, you're crazy, man. Nobody can touch this.
Mm,
Remember, this is a done. I'm talking, and like I even had no experience with him. Like, so I don't have nothing negative to say about the man because he never dealt with me
yeah.
harsh or nothing. He talked to me like a true gentleman, like respect. You know what I mean? Like he enjoyed how I played, and he said, "Yo, yeah, play a so which I ended up playing back at the room, but I took my record box. But what was no, I wasn't leaving my record box. But what amazed me was the security at the end of the night, because we parked the car way far down because the place was packed, and you had to park way down and walk. I said, "Yo, somebody go get the car." So I'm at my record box, and I'm at the if you know the roof club, you go down the stairs and then the sidewalk is right there. Actually, Willie Agat's house is either connected to it or like 10 steps from it. So I'm on the sidewalk. I'm not going to lie to you. I just saw they look like they're young youths, but they were walking heavy, very, very heavy. I like, oh my God, I'm dead. I'm dead. I don't know what I did, but I'm dead. I just see them coming towards me. I don't know where I'm going to run. I don't know this area. I don't know nothing. They come to me, all they come and say, "Yo," Dan said, "Well, for wait here so till the car come for you, man." So we just go on guard, man. I watch nothing. I say, "Yo, I could have cried right then and there. I could have cried right then and I was like, sure, no a star." And like the car came, gone about my business. I came back on the Saturday. He rolled up a thing and said, "Yo, hold this." Flight was changed. He paid. I never saw him after that. I didn't
No?
see him after that. No, it was like it wasn't. I wasn't the real Link. I was just a selector that got the opportunity to play and he enjoyed it and firing you, and stuff like that. And the link was made. I thought he was a cool dude, but other people didn't think so. So unfortunately, things
Jeez.
happened to him, but I don't have nothing negative to say about him because he never dealt with me harsh or anything. Treated me real
Dealt with
cool.
you proper.
Yeah, I thought so. That was cool. You know what I mean? But that's just my personal intake. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, those are two experiences so different over time. When Jamaica was there, it was the way I look at it. If my son's 21, and if I wasn't having my son, I probably would have moved to Jamaica and stayed and deal with the sound business differently.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I would have. Pretty sure. Not
Gee.
100, but I'm pretty sure.
So when you came back to Toronto after that, how many times, like you just kept going back and forth, or you,
Yeah,
you
just every 3, 4 months, I
okay.
made sure I was in Jamaica. I'd come up here, I'd work, 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 and maybe you have your airfare. And um, I was lucky. I was staying at hotels, so I didn't have to have a hotel. But you go there and you respect the house that you're staying at, and you buy groceries, and we go out, and it's not a pressure thing to thing, but um, just kept going. I kept going to studios. I saw a lot, but I just didn't have going to Jamaica and enjoying the only memories I could live are actually enjoying the studio life and stuff like that. And for a good little while, a good 6 to 8 months of going back and forth, I just didn't get it. I was too Canadian down there. So I wake up in the morning and I think studio opens at 11 or so. They're there around 11 or so. But that doesn't mean any artists are showing up at 11 in the
Mm.
morning. Them artists are asleep. So basically, I'm bleaching at a studio with probably the engineer mostly and maybe one or two artists that trickle in. No, because all the top artists, they're not coming to the studio till late at night. But you have to
Yeah.
remember, I I take bus and stuff like that, right? To get so I can't stay out till 11, 12 when they show up, right? I
Yeah.
didn't have no drive. I didn't have drive or anything because I told my cousin them no. I want to take the bus, and I took it from Portmore, and I go to Halfway Tree, and I transfer to this one, and I get up, and I go into Red Hills, and I get to, I think it's Malines Road or something, and then I mostly went to, um, well, Jerry was Silver Rock was you know the engineer, and man, eh, what a guy, what a man. I'd come with my dot machine. I'd bring some extra dots for him and stuff like that when I came. Uh, we basically hung around. I see him mix, and sometimes some artists would come in and voice right away, and then they cut and stuff. So I'm just sitting there because if you went in the studio, basically Jerry's like directly in front of the booth. Um,
Mm.
and he's there, and he has the machines, and he has the board and stuff in front of him, nothing too overly fancy. And I'd sit at the steps, right? um and I'm there, and I'm hoping you know some artist would show up, somebody would be amazing. And so, like, the 6:30, the 7 o'clock, and the 8 o'clock, that's my prime time right there. And remember, I'm there from, how can I say, maybe 12:30. I don't know what. I kept coming back and forth. And I'd go like almost every day because Jay be like, yo, some artists would come early, some might show up and run to voice or something. So you just have to be there at whatever time. Um, and but I was just too Canadianish. I was too Canadianish, too no depending on no ride. Um, I was mostly in Jamaica about business. I mean, I loved the studio and stuff like that, but I used to buy things up here and bring it to Jamaica and walk around the neighborhood and sell it.
What?
So yeah, that was my hustle. Especially the nail salons, um, because we got them so cheap up here, I could double up the money up there, but it was still cheap. So
Yeah.
what other people were selling for $2 and $3, I was selling for like $1, right? Because I was like, "But you're coming to Jamaica, like, why are you trying to, you're gonna double up your money anyway. You don't have to crucify them, and they're gonna buy it." So the nail salons, I used to get the colorful, what do you call it, nail polish in them for the ladies, them, and the nail salons would buy it. I sometimes I'd get some, you know, um, things like little tools and stuff like that, mechanics and stuff would think. So I'd walk around. I'd have a suitcase walking around, and I'd pull it. I didn't have no fear, right, of getting robbed or anything. When you look back, it's kind of like crazy what I was doing still, because I have all this stuff in the suitcase, and I'm just walking through the neighborhood,
Yeah.
going to this shop, this shop, that shop, and even the shops that people, they sell the little stores. I bring stuff for them, stuff like air fresheners and stuff like that, and they buy it. So I'm like, I'm making $1 when I'm coming to the airport. I'm counting. You know what I'm saying? Because my focus was more on bills. Like, you come back to Canada. It's the one thing I've always not liked about people is you shouldn't go anywhere and front on people just because your money can exchange to a bigger amount. Because when you come back, you're in a sticky situation.
True.
So when I came back, I didn't want to have to wonder where gas money was coming for my car, or my cell phone bill getting cut off, or not. I had that money and I went to Jamaica and made that money. Um, yeah, it's weird, but you know, Jerry helped me tremendously, tremendously, tremendously. Like I just you wouldn't even know. Along with the artistum that really had mercy on me, and I'm talking real mercy, like the amount of money that they wanted, I was like, no, I can't afford that. I can't afford that, bro. It's just me one. I can't afford that right now.
So what did they want the money for? Like a dub plate or
Yeah,
what?
the dub plays, the dub
Okay.
plays. So Jerry was the king beggar. Jerry was the king beggar for me. He was like, nah, man, I could give the youth a tune, man. You they a long time, man. You they a work with me. And them thing that I was like, sure, no, thank God for that machine and CD cases and CDs were just evolving and stuff like that. And I just bought package and bring to Jerry. And it wasn't a charge or nothing. I was just, I was just like, because Jerry would open the studio and know something I knock and say, oh, where's you there? Yeah, man. And I was like, yeah, man, there, Jerry. What go on today? Nah, it's not there, you. I said, yeah. He said, but hang around, man. You never know. And we just sit there and we reason. We reason a lot. Um, he didn't. It's weird. I don't think he enjoyed the business as much towards the end. I don't know. I don't know exactly what took place. So I don't wish to talk on it. So but when I was there and you see him, he got frustrated a lot with, when people voiced and stuff like that. And I guess he was just, you know, he's been doing it so long and so thing, but he's a dominant man in it, man. And I have respect for him, and I won't forget what he did for me. You know, he really really helped me out.
Jeez. So, talk about like your show, Wizology.
Wizology, well,
Yeah.
Wizology was a show that um, I've always had and never had the guts to do. Um, it, the quarantine really forced me to bring out Wizology a lot. Uh, I was um, never one to be, on the gram or this live. Like I could post and I could say this and say that, but I never was one to really go on the live. But certain things put you in situations, and quarantine put you in a situation or put me in a situation where I said, you know what? There's so much stories and so much people that I want to talk to. They have nowhere going now. I could get them now. You know what I'm saying? Um, I so when Wizology first launched, I didn't expect everything that what happened, and I take it as a great blessing to what happened, and I don't take it for granted. The people that follow me and the people that watch the show, every single one don't know how special they are to me. Even some of the ones that dislike me, like through the show, it's not me they dislike. I guess it's the show. Um, it made me very much more confident um, to you know go into new endeavors. Wizology show was made because there's so much stories that I believe weren't finished in in reggae, in the culture. So much stories behind the scenes, and you know there's a lot that people have done in this industry that we don't know how hard it was for them to get where they are now. And I think Wizology gives them the opportunity to let people know exactly what it took. I mean, it's unfortunate because some of the naysayers will say, "Oh, you're causing mix up and blend," and I'm like, I'm looking at them like, "But brothers, I'm not even saying nothing. I'm listening like you. I'm listening like everybody else out there to what is taking place in a person's life." And I didn't want my platform to go down that controversy to say, yeah, man, a vibe like this and mix up and blend and gossip. I didn't want the he said, she said mentality. So I wanted to hear from the person's mouth, right? Um, I wanted, I wanted Wizology Show to be a respected platform of truth. I mean, sure, I got a lot of lies may have been told, but that's not something that I could say, oh no, stop, you're lying. I can't do that. You can't do that to a guest. If I'm on your show and I said I landed on the moon, you can't stop me from saying that. You see
Yes.
what I'm saying? I could say I landed on the moon.
Yep.
If I landed on the moon, whatever date, it's now you could go back and fact check and see if I landed on the moon, right? But at the time, I'm giving you this conversation.
Right.
You know, I can say whatever, correct,
Yep.
right? And you can't be blamed for what I'm saying, so
No.
I can't be blamed for what people are saying. And there's a lot of, I won't say untruth, but there's a lot of, you know, miscommunicated arguments that get bestowed upon us. I think that's the best way to say it.
Yeah.
And when I say us, I mean the people that listen to Wizology and that are there as soon as the live pops on, as soon as I jump on. I don't take not one of them for granted because they could be anywhere else, right? And I think that we as a people, we don't appreciate people who are good to us at the time because at any point in time, you know, somebody could say Ray and you know, somebody could say something so negative that people's ears would say, "Oh, Ray about this guy, about that guy." And but I mean, I've been blessed with a dedicated listenership. Wizology Show is really, um, I would say, reached a great level. Thing I still have much more to learn. I still have much more to do. Um, there's some things that you know bestowed upon me that I have to carry, and I have to take that good with the bad for Wizology Show. And Wizology Show is just, but I mean, like, you know, look what it's made. It's made. Um, I've gotten a few connections in the Cayman Islands. Uh, Cayman Clashers have come out in abundance. I nicknamed them the Cayman Clashers because Cayman, they really stand predominant. Bermuda has been absolutely amazing. Bermuda badness, I call them. Those sounds have come out and they stand. They take it. You know, a lot of the Americans, some sounds have really generated when I did the Clash series and stuff like that. The episodes have been. I, I'm not. I'm not unhappy about any. You know, I'm not unhappy about any of them. I think I've taken this opportunity and learned from a lot of them, a lot of big. And I know that even some of my listenerships are way more educated than I am in um, some of the conversations that I have because they've either lived it been there, or they just know in depth. Uh, but they've accepted me, and I've accepted them, and I think that no matter how old I am, no matter who I be, I could pick up the phone and talk to many of them and learn a lot from them, right? Um, you know, um, my disappointment with Wizology show, it's my own city. It's Canada is my disappointment. Um, because they're the ones I got the most. I mean, I have some great people from Canada who are dedicated to the show. Maybe one or two of the sounds have taken it to try to stir negativity, which I have this thing right here. You see, inside here, no negativity is allowed. None. So as soon as negativity comes from that, bop, negativity
Yep.
comes from bop, I I just stay focused. But it's difficult, you know. Um, but it's so disheartening to because I wanted so much to help, you know. I play on the radio at Vibe, and I fight for Canadian artists, fight for them. I can't get to everyone. I'm just one man, right? And I'm this big in the industry, this big. I mean, this industry is beyond thing. Our reggae culture, such a beloved culture. It's thing, but I've learned that we in Canada, I think we fight against each other the most in this whole industry.
Why?
And
Why do you think that that is the way it is?
I have no idea. I honestly don't. I I mean, we have some talented sound systems, some talented MCs, some some you know. I think Canadian, they must spend them like when they spend and cut dubs, some of these sounds, they have some amazing dub plates, and I just don't understand. I don't know. Maybe I was part of a problem in myself, but I never saw myself bad mind another sound. You know, I always, maybe there's some things I didn't like about the person, not out of the but not in the music. Um, I was never that friendly type of person, right? Um, I never. I was like, okay, this is the dance where we're playing. Now we're sure we could be friends maybe, but if you don't call me on the regular, then we just play at the dance. We don't have to be brethren. But business is business. We can play at the dance and still enjoy it. I mean, it was Jamaica, that same Jerry studio where I learned about how the sound business is an entertaining business, and we just take it overly serious. We take it above and beyond where it needs to go. Um, I did a show, and a man, a promoter, called me and nearly wanted to threaten me for what somebody said on my show because I didn't stop him and say, no, it doesn't go like that. So I asked the man, I said, but brothers, I personally haven't done no business with you. So I can't say you do good business or you do bad business. You wouldn't hear me say that because I haven't done business with you like that. So to see the good or the bad. So I don't have an opinion. And that's only fair. I can't say nothing negative about half of the people that have said negative. And you know what? It's very few. It's just the few stand out because it's very few. And they're sound selectors, or who people who play sound. And it's just, I'm just looking at it like, you don't know me like that for me to demeanor me like that. Likewise, I don't know you like that for me to belittle you or disrespect you or belittle you, demean you like that. So there's not going to be that coming out of my mouth. That tone is not going to come out. And quarantine taught me. See, remember, no negativity, no negativity. Bam, out, focus. So I had to stay focused. Um, Even this interview, I was going to cancel it. Um, I wasn't for the last couple weeks just listening to one and two negative people talk, and they're not talking about the show negative. They just want to throw the jabs, and I'm like, why? And again, it was because I have a platform which I think was powerful enough to help promote sounds in Canada, artists in Canada, and show you that Canada is on a level that you should respect as well, right? I mean, by far, nobody's going to be as great as a sound system in Jamaica from Jamaica Sound System, but you are going to get the respect level. We've had some great ones. I mean, King Turbo's out there, Rebel Tone, Mystic, Rootsman, Super Fresh, Black Reaction, and the list goes on and on and on and on and on. And you see, here's I'm gonna show you a thing. You see, I named those sounds. You'll have a selector call me and cuss me because I didn't name his sound. I
But
can't
okay, so
win.
how do we move forward? Like, what is your suggestion personally? What do you think? Like, because there's a lot of hate in our city. We know this anyways, in Toronto. I was born in Toronto too. We just know what it is. If you have anything bad on your name or anybody doesn't like you for some sort of reason, they crucify you for like your whole life. Out here that the stories keep coming back around. You know what I'm saying? So how do we move past and just accept people for whatever, and grow up, I guess.
Here's the thing. I I don't mind if someone comes and says, you know what, I just don't like you. We move on.
Right.
I think there's a whole bunch of fakeness. It's like Canada and racism. We try to sugarcoat they try to sugarcoat it, but it's here, right? And it's rampant. But you know, it, I think there's so much, you know, fakeness about people. And when you like, I'm a man, and I've learned that I got to take responsibility for my action. So I don't do the you thing. I do the I, right? And sometimes I'm taking responsibility for my actions just a little bit too much, and I get to a breaking point. But I also have to understand that, you know, I have a mind, I have a mouth, and I have two eyes. God's blessed me. I'm you know able to differentiate right from wrong. So I got to be able to pick and choose that. Unfortunately, some people just decide that when you decide to choose the path to, I'm not righteous, I'm not a saint, but try to do better or try to be better. I don't know what it is. The city just, this city decides to engulf you and try and not help you make you reach. Like, every single person wants to reach a pinnacle, a height. But do you know how so much easier it could be if we piggybacked off each other and helped one another and stuff like that? It's like, look, I could have told you, I'm not doing the interview on your life. You have to do it on my life. You see what I'm saying? way I look at it is I got the opportunity to talk to people. They came on my life. It's my turn now to, if somebody asks, why not? I've done 3 or 4 worldwide interviews. They've asked me to do it through Skype and do it through DM or do it through this, and however it is to be. What I'm saying, as soon as you show kindness in one length, in one aspect, they're just out to crush you. I mean, when I started this, I spoke to somebody who's been in the game for a minute, and I'm telling you, the person is very well educated in his product and his deliverance. Very well educated. When I first started Wizology Show, I used to call that person for like 2 days, 3 days. Okay, how do I do this? Okay, how's this? How is this? You know what I mean? And it's like after all of a sudden, okay, my connection started coming in because I'm blessed. I'm very well connected, very well. And the connection started coming in, the things started going in, the things started flowing. That same person indirectly turned on me. No, me and them have no argument. No, me and them had no disagreement. It's a person that I used to promote all the time, show love to, because I respect the fact that he, answered the phone call and he took time and said, anytime, brother, link me this. Then he started doing things indirectly to try belittle my show. And, saw it, watched it happen. I never addressed it. I was like, there were certain people that he talked to that I didn't talk to because I know he was well connected with them, and I didn't want to think that, oh, I'm trying to, disrespect his connection. So when I actually talked to the link, and the link linked me and said, yo, talk to this person, you need to talk to this person, and I talked to the person, I told the person right away, I said, the reason I didn't draw for you and to come on the show and stuff like that is because, I know you and that other person are well connected, and what that other person's trying to indirectly do to me, I didn't appreciate, and stuff like that. He was like, well, are you sure you're not watching something wrong and something this and some? And I said, okay, man is man. Um, I was like, if you think it's nothing, but what the saying? Who knows it feels it, right? And I knew, sorry, indirectly trying to I, I don't get his point across that he's done this like this and he's done this like that. And I was like, I wouldn't have no problem uplifting that person, because when I first started out, it's that person I went to and I asked for, advice. So I was like, why would this man try and Jim Screechy, like this, and try to belittle me like this? And it's a person who I thought, I could call and ask for advice and stuff like that. And I realized real quickly, you can't. You know what I mean? So I couldn't. So I didn't bother anymore. Um, I had a great conversation with ZJ Sparks. She's so intelligent, and so we were so in tuned in the conversation. It was great. I didn't know how to record it. I didn't know. Um, it took me about 2 to 3 interviews to learn how it had to be done, right? And stuff like that. But when I look past the quarantine now, and I look and I like, you know, look how everybody shut down, but God opened me up. You know what I mean? Like, and Wizology Show took off. Um, it, it's a show that I've tried to help any and anybody who connected with me. I'm really bad in the last 2 weeks for DM messages, really awful, really bad. Like I saw yours pop up and I knew we had set this, right? And I was like, okay, I gotta answer this one. Um, but uh with work coming back and stuff, I really, really had a hard time dealing with the negativity and I was wondering why. I can't understand why. So when you ask me, I can't, I don't know what to do anymore. I'm kind of tired of being the nice guy and sitting back and watching it happen. And I understand why some of these people blow up now. I understand.
I don't think you should be tired. You are definitely an inspiration. You're out there. I watch your posts all the time. You're always sending a positive message. You're always trying to educate people, uplift people, um, and not, you're just putting those posts out there. It's good information that you're putting out there, things to open up your mindset, things for you to think about, to make us better people in
Yeah,
general. So,
I, I mean, Wizology posting, this is why I have two Instagrams, Wiz on Vibe. So I tried to keep that the music. The posting was every morning. I wanted people to wake up and understood that they woke up. If you understand what I mean. If 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 you could just give God thanks for waking up, the day's going to be filled with struggles, and the day's going to be filled with strife, and trouble will be there, but you're alive. You have a chance to change every minute, every hour. So when you read the post, it's relatable. I want people to be able to relate, and I want people to understand that I relate to them. Like nothing that because you think Wiz is on whatever level. Nah, we've been there. Like when I used to eat, you know, um, meat and stuff, it was hot dogs for dinner. It was hot dogs and bread. You see what I'm saying? It was hot dogs and bread. It hasn't always been lobster and spicy shrimp and stuff like that. It, it was, yo, I used to make hot water and take cream, condensed milk, and that was your cereal. Been there. There's no need for me to be exalting over nobody because I I'm not rich, but I'm not poor. Is 21 and good kid. You know what I mean? So I'm blessed. Um, but I'm telling you, uh, 10 to 12 years, I didn't work 9 to 5. It was straight music. Music paid bills, bought cars, it was its thing, and it's still helping me to this day. So I have no reason to disrespect it. I have no reason to disrespect the people that are are sticking by me and stuff. And I felt bad because in the last couple of weeks I was getting angry at certain people because I'm wondering why the disrespect is so highly elevated. Like why you feel that you know eh, I just couldn't figure it out for a while, man. I couldn't figure it out. And it was mentally draining. Um remember it was like I don't know, like see, all this interview wasn't promoted thing because remember I asked you, I said, do you make a flyer or for a day? Because I didn't want to mess with how you do your thing, right? So I
and
was
you know
just
what, just to be quite honest with you, I'm not techie either. Like I
yeah,
was doing the radio thing and I really wouldn't do too much promoting. So I don't know really too much about how to make a flyer and how to
yeah.
promote
It,
properly.
it's all good. It's all good.
But
And,
we have 15 seconds left on this live. So I'm
okay,
gonna end it and then we'll come back and
no problem.
okay.
No
All right.
problem.
Okay. Let me see.